for I don't know. It was a really weird argument that lasted far fucking longer than it should have. Like 30 minutes. No, an hour. Dead ass. A lot of bickering for about an hour. That's a long time to fucking scream at people. But yeah, I'm sorry that story was so long. I just wanted to catch a lot of people up on that. That is something that's taken place. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. Me personally.
Oh, sorry.
I was just going to end it with me personally. I meant what I said in Ken's live. I don't owe a guy like that a bitch ass thing. I would never in my fucking life apologize for what happened. Savvy, this was like February, March of this year, somewhere in there. The shit was wild. But a guy like that talks his talk, but then treats women and other men the way that he treats them, yeah, I can't apologize. My ego, my pride, my common sense, my logic, my intellect will not fucking let. My soul would be in shackles. I could just never apologize to a dude like that. But I do think I could have did a better job moderating. Yeah, I'll say that for sure. I'll always say that. But as far as apologizing, nah, bro, I'm good. You have to charge that to the game. I'm gonna go on mute.
I was just gonna say the most frustrating part for me is like I have a lot of like, not a lot, but a good amount of moderators that I have that are indigenous or like maybe Hispanic that are just non-black people. And it transformed after that conversation with you. It transformed into, oh, I can't even believe y'all would have non-black people in the space. And I was like, whoa, wait. It's like, what, we skipped hella fast. I was like, hold on, yo. Like, if you go to my bio right now, it says liberty for all. Like, bitch, if I'm going to sit here and stand for liberty for all, that means all marginalized groups and all marginalized people will have a voice and have a space with me. If I got to check them, like how we was just talking about with your moderator, you check them and you got to do what you got to do. But just know in those moments, the spaces that we have, my space will always be for somebody in another group of people that don't have a voice. Why would I sit here knowing what we've been through, knowing what I've been through, and then just shit on everybody else? That don't make no sense to me. That doesn't make any sense.
I don't think people realize the hypocrisy that was coming out of their mouth. I'm not going to list any names, but I don't think certain people realize the hypocrisy, right? Because his whole point is, why do you have white moderators moderating a black space, right? Take it for what he said. So anyone who was agreeing with him better not have had a white fucking moderator.
Sorry.
You have no reason to agree with him if you have a white moderator. You were anti-black by his standard. I don't think people really just let what they saw digest. I think it was a lot of let me get caught up in the drama and not let me really analyze what's going on from here. And that was my problem, is that we had too many people wanting to be messy instead of people wanting to get clarity. No one was asking him, okay, is this true? Do you have any other encounter? Do we have any other encounters? Shit like that, like the real questions. But I see your hand, Jay. Oh, this is an open panel, by the way. I'm sure all y'all have something to say.
I just wanted to add to the conversation about anti-blackness. I think that even if you have interracial relationships or interracial dynamics with your friendships or anything like that, I think that there is a difference when you're not weaponizing anti-blackness. Like, it's okay to have other people moderate on your panels. Like, as long as, black people moderating white spaces, white people moderating black spaces, as long as you're not weaponizing anti-blackness, and as long as the spaces that you're moderating in for YT people are not perpetuating the problem, I don't see the problem.
I saw some resistance over there, Savvy. What you got?
You know what I mean? So it's how y'all want to run y'all shit. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna tell people how to run y'all shit. That's on you. Me personally, I don't agree with having white moderators. I don't agree with having white people in that type of space or dynamic, because if they're going to be quote unquote deconstructing, I don't think white people can deconstruct racism, rightfully so, because they have white supremacy that will always catch them whenever they decide to fall back on it, right? But I don't stop white people from coming into my spaces. It's just inevitable. It's going to happen regardless. I just don't give them mod powers because I don't think that they understand that they sometimes the white tea people take things a mile. So it's not an understanding of, oh, it's just mod powers. I'm just going to help, regulate the space. No, I'm now with Black community. I'm with Black people. I can use these Black people for when I get into a situation where somebody is telling me something in regards to racism. I can say I mod for Black spaces. I already know. Or I know a Black moderator, so you can't say that they let me in their spaces all the time. I mod for a Black host, and they tell me all the time it's okay. So it's just it's giving them complacency, because it's allowing them to be able to have that wiggle room to then use that. And so this is why I say if you give them an inch, they're going to take that full mile. And so this is why I don't give them mod powers. I mean, I can't stop them from coming into my lives. That is what that is on that part. But I definitely do not let them mod. I definitely don't let them co-host. I don't let them try to reprimand other white people in this space, because you don't know more than the Black people that are in my space. And I'm here to uplift Black voices. And so that's how I run my panel.
So I would say in my space, in my opinion, it's not the simple fact of having white tea moderators. It's the simple fact is that, like you said, most white tea people, they don't know when to stop. They don't know their lane. They don't know where they belong and where they shouldn't belong. And it depends on the white tea person that you allow to have that space in your space. Because myself, I do have 2 white tea moderators. But however, those white tea moderators are literally there to stay in their lane, and they remain in their lane as a white tea person. I'll bring them in for them to come up, address what needs to be addressed at the moment. They let that white tea person know this is not the space for that, especially the ones that come up with the deconstruction and all of that stuff. They come up, they take them white people and they host lives. They host their own lives. And those lives are for white people in white spaces because they stay in their white lane. So I don't want it to be like, oh, Ravi was wrong for having a white team moderator. I don't agree with that. However, it's what you allow that white tea moderator to do in your Black space, and to ensure that that white tea person knows their white tea lane.
I agree. I think that if we're talking about deconstructing racism, then the people who benefit for the system should be doing majority of the work. So I don't want to be spending my time yelling on panels at white people. I have to, because Bella is my personal friend. Just say that she wasn't coming at it from a race perspective, and more so a gender perspective, because a man was on his panel demeaning a bunch of women, and because she presents as a white woman, she felt like she should take the brunt of his feelings, and she got angry with him for how he was talking to Black women. And I think, for me personally, that is a valid form of allyship for me, because again, I don't want to always have to be labeled the angry, bitter person. So I just don't think what they did to Ravioli was fair, and using Bella to skate through his misogynoir was cowardly. Oh, Dre, I don't think you have to raise your hand because he said it's open panel.
Since I work in mental health, I think there is a misunderstanding exactly about what deconstruction is. And deconstruction isn't about the social issue stopping. So, for example, people who have been in cults have to deconstruct. And it's the same about racism. Deconstructing doesn't necessarily stop racism from happening. Deconstruction is just about mentally bringing awareness to yourself and the behaviors and taking accountability and taking corrective action. It's a lifelong process. It's gonna be ongoing, but deconstruction isn't the end all of end all. Deconstruction isn't about society as a whole. Deconstructing is about the individual themselves. And I land my plane.
I see, and this is where I disagree, right? Maybe I don't really give a shit what I am. When it comes to, again, deconstruction, I don't think that's a thing. I don't. Simply because, again, these are people who have been genetically placed into these positions where they are provided benefits. And you're probably thinking, well, race isn't biological. I'm fully aware of that, right? What I'm referring to is the fact that 450 plus years of people getting the benefit of their race being white has a way of trickling into the DNA, epigenetic, right? And so this is something that they have all learned. Why do they all sound the same no matter where they come from? And I host lives all the time. I'll hear somebody from Australia saying the same thing, somebody over there in Europe. Same thing from somebody over here in Tennessee. Okay.
Nah.
And that's simply because
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Damn, got that ass out of here real quick.
I don't, like, when I tell you I don't, I'm on that shit, I'm on that. So when we're talking about whiteness, when we're talking about the assimilation of it and its monolithic tendencies, I do think that we have to call it what it is. We don't need to kind of gently carry it down. Doesn't mean that it needs to be graceful. Deconstructing doesn't mean white people stop being white. It means they learn to be better. That's not what I'm saying. Yeah, that's not what I'm saying. So again, what it is what I'm trying to say is whiteness is considered the white supremacy, right? And if the action of being white in society is harming other individuals, then what needs to be deconstructed is the justice. Justice. Give back Black people what was taken, what was stolen, what was removed. That right there will deconstruct racism. Instead of thinking that I need to go within myself, white people are already individualistic. That's not going to cut anything. That's not going to do shit. They've been individualistic. We're asking them to give us what is ours and then leave us alone. That is how you deconstruct racism.
So Savvy, whose responsibility is it to dismantle racism?
I think that it is white people's, but again, I think that Black people, what we need to be able to essentially remove racism, give Black people reparations and then leave them alone. They wouldn't need to deconstruct. Racism wouldn't exist as soon as they give us that reparations because we wouldn't be there. They would leave us alone.
But
we wouldn't be faced with the harm. Why would they give it? Then why would they deconstruct? That makes no sense.
Okay,
right?
but people are deconstructing individually. You're correct. But if you're saying that like they can't deconstruct, then why are we asking them for something they're never going to give us?
Well, then I don't think you should say they never are going to give us because they've had a conversation about it at the UN in regards to what happened. That's white people who decided that, because white people, again, are assimilating to whiteness, right? And if
The country that we live in declined that and refused to agree. The country we in.
Exactly. So if we're sitting here trying to give people, white people, the individualistic benefit of the doubt to assume that their deconstruction will help liberate us, then that's no damn different than what the hell I just said, right? If you don't think that we're ever going to get reparations, then don't ever think that white people are ever going to deconstruct racism. Don't think that they're ever going to liberate you from the racism either. That's on the same par.
I don't think that they're ever going to liberate us.
Okay. So which one is it? You want reparations to get liberty and get it yourself, or do you want white people?
I never spoke upon receiving reparations. I just asked a clarifying question to better understand your thought process. That was all.
Okay.
And also, how could it be possible to not ask the individual to address that issue, to address that from within? Because individual biases impact the whole entire system. It's individuals that are upholding the system.
Yes.
So
But if you want them to give you the quote unquote sanctuary that you're asking for, reparations is what black people need. That's what black people are owed. That's what they're indebted to. The whole reason why they created it was to be able to steal, hoard resources, dehumanize black people, oppress black people, and subjugate. So if that is what's keeping racism alive, don't you think rectifying it with us would remove what's the problem? That's the justification.
But how can people fix a problem that they're not aware of?
How are they not aware of racism if you guys are saying this is people who are deconstructing? So what are they deconstructing if they're not aware of what it is?
I'm not talking about the people who are deconstructing. I'm talking about how those who are deconstructing can help other people within their personal, intimate circles. And then from there, it can spread out. Like I said, it starts out with the individual.
Yeah, I heard you the first time, but it's not an individualistic thing. Like, all white people need to be, like, it is an individualistic thing in regards to white supremacy, but not at the same time, right? Because when we're talking about white supremacy, it takes all white people to uphold white supremacy, right? So they can't remove themselves from it. So that's the same thing in regards to deconstructing. How can they remove themselves from it and say that I'm an individual who's deconstructing when we are fully aware that the whole mass of it has to function regardless if they're participating or not? I'm not giving a shit about if white people want to deconstruct their whiteness. I'm asking for black people to be justified in getting their shit back. That's what I'm asking for. And when I say that you're waiting for a white person to liberate you, that's why I'm saying that. Because that is what that would essentially mean. Placing the hands of their own identity of trying to figure out what to reverse on them. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm asking them to give the shit back that they stole. I don't give a shit if a thief goes to rehab. That don't got shit to do with me. Bitch, give me my shit back. That's what I'm asking for.
I just want to slide in real quick. Airborne is kind of, does anyone on the panel identify as he, him, his?
Me?
No.
Oh, okay. It's just you and me, Airborne. So, if they start throwing hands, I'm gonna set my phone down and walk away. And
Hey, I'm
whatever's
not
left of
binary.
this-
I'm not binary. Put me in the circle.
Oh,
I
me
was
too.
distracted for a
Okay.
minute. I was just,
Okay.
I go by he, him, she, they, her, it.
Okay.
I don't go by.
Word.
Put me in there.
I
Put
only
me in
do
there.
the they,
Word.
them. I only do the
So
they,
us-
them. So
Us right here, we gonna be out. I'm gonna just set my phone down and let y'all do what y'all do, and whatever residual is left, I'll come back and ask TikTok to appeal a pill of claim for me.
I don't think anyone is throwing hands, though. I think everyone is pretty okay right now.
That's just my contingency plan. After this morning, I'm left with trust issues because y'all should have been there. That shit went from 0 to 30 million in like 2 seconds.
And it
I don't
was
even know
like
how it happened.
everybody was going on. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I felt so bad. That was like the first time I really been like on live with you. And I was like, since we became mutuals, and I was sitting there, I was like, first of all, I was hearing them out because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna listen. And then it just turned into a hate train. It just it did like this conversation that y'all were having, that was constructive. That was just, we about to just burn this at the stake. Like it wasn't even a conversation. It was just, let me find somebody to use as a scapegoat because I know I'm sitting here effing up. Like that was out of pocket.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yes. And some of the people on that panel, I think they just wanted to argue.
Ravi, did something new happen? Because this happened a while ago. We had a whole panel. We talked about it. Like, did something new? Because I came in, and the only reason I came up to speak my piece in regards to, I feel like people's kind of coming for you about the white mod shit. So that was what I was but something new has happened and brought this situation back up within the past 24 to 48 hours?
Yes. Unfortunately.
You froze for me.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
That was this morning.
Yeah, you froze for me. I'm sorry. I didn't.
I'm sorry.
Is it just me or is it?
No, he is freezing up. He
Okay.
said that it was
Me
this
too.
morning.
The same person that already had the live and there was a whole discussion about it, brought it back up again?
Okay, obviously you're not freezing up now, Ravioli. We can
Oh, Rav, you trying to be funny? You know what? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You talk about that.
Pink, wait, Pink, I'm sorry.
Drop
I'm
the
sorry,
host.
Pink.
Drop the host.
You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Leah, because I was over here
like this
falling for the
Nah, I got
bullshit.
you.
I was over here falling for the bullshit, sis.
Wrong for that. Wrong for that.
That shit. No, that shit this morning was out of pocket, and Maceo showed up, and I was just like, I messaged promo to the side. I was like, bro, it was a really good summary of what happened, and I was just like, hopefully you can see this message before I get back on. And he did, and he messaged me, so I was like, good. We've had similar interactions with him. Very similar. Moment to you. Mira, I don't know. Should have one so close, but who knows? Yeah. Oh, what's up, Blazing?
Blazing, what's up? You came up?
Yeah, I just wanted to come up briefly and speak to Savvy as a YT person who is.
You sure you want to do that?
Well, listen,
I would.
I can take the smoke. I can. I say that knowing that I can never.
All right, well, look, we gave Blazing the warning.
You did.
And Blazing, there we go. All
right, so everybody mute up.
There we go. Mute up. It's Blazing and Savvy.
So I know Ravioli, and I appreciate you for hosting this space. Sure.
Hang on, Blazing.
Sorry if I have background noise.
This is a. Yeah, you're good. This is a white nationalist. Yes, it was.
The white nationalist.
Nationalist.
This new person. Oh my gosh. One in the wild.
Ew.
What did I do?
Yeah.
Why did he leave?
I dropped it.
What did I say?
Okay.
I was about to say. I was
Let
like,
him be a field white, Rav. Let him be a field white. Let him be a field cracker. Let him stay down there in the fields. Come on. All right, good Blazing. Let's go.
100%.
Yeah. So I'm not here to justify whiteness. I am not here to say that YT people are not the absolute epitome of the individuals that started the harm, perpetuated the harm, continue to uphold the system. But I think it would be a half measure for reparations to be the end all be all. I think that there truly has to be a point in time where there is racial equity and a time of healing. Now, that may sound idealistic, but for me as a YT person who used to think that racism, in air quotes, was simply just interpersonal, like I say a microaggression to someone, or I see someone using the N slur or something like that, that's all that racism is. As someone who used to perceive racism that way, the amount of education and learning that I have done, I know that that is not factually true, but I can tell you that the majority of YT people sit in their YT ignorance because they have the luxury of doing so, and they continue to perpetuate and believe that lie, that racism is just, well, if I don't say anything or I don't do anything to hurt anybody else, racism is gone, which is an absolute myth and lie. The reality is that until YT people are willing to take accountability, acknowledge the truth of what we have collectively done, and respond appropriately by tearing down the system, we as human beings cannot move forward as a collective without racial equity. So reparations is absolutely part of that. But I do believe fully and wholeheartedly that I'm not saying you should trust YT people. I'm not saying YT people are safe. But what I am saying is there is a group of YT people who are actively working to deconstruct the harm that they have caused knowingly or unknowingly, the way that they have upheld the system knowingly or unknowingly, and grow beyond that so that even if reparations and those things come to pass, which I want to see that happen, I will give my unaliving breath to see that happen, that isn't enough. It has to be equity. And that's all I wanted to share.
So what I don't care for is when whitey people come up here and tell me things I already know, right? I also don't like it when whitey people try to tell black people what they think should be done in regards to rectifying the harm that you guys have caused, right? So when I said that reparations, I said reparations and then leave black people alone. So that will give black people time to be with themselves and for themselves like it was prior to colonization. I don't think that anybody should essentially be deconstructing like you guys are by needing to be around black people. I don't understand the need to constantly be around black people to show black people that you're deconstructing. In my opinion, that's no different than a rapist constantly going and checking up with the victim saying, hey, I know I did that to you, but like I've been going around telling other people who are like rapists, like, don't do it. Like, don't do that. Like, stop. And I've been going around and educating myself. So then like, I'll stop doing that, you know, victim, like, you hear what I'm saying, right? Like there's a bunch of us other rapists who are not going out there and raping people. Like I understand that happened to you. I did, you know, we're still putting the harm out there. There's other victims who are still being harmed, but I want you to put the benefit of the doubt or just give me a little bit of just, of your humanity again, even though we've ripped it from you from 450 plus years and we still continuously do it up until today. You want me to give white people a chance because you guys are deconstructing shit that you created. I don't give a damn about that. I don't give a fuck, right? The reason why I don't give a fuck is because if people don't care about black people, and they don't care about black bodies, and they don't care about how black people are being unalive, I don't give a fuck about white people getting together and talking about it. You guys are not dying. You never have been dying by your race, okay? And until that happens, you're not doing shit.
And I'm not asking for a chance. I'm not here to be a spokesperson for YT people. I agree with absolutely everything that you just said. I I absolutely believe that the onus is on white people to deconstruct their whiteness. It should not be up to any Black person to do the emotional or physical labor of educating white people. The onus should fall on white people to educate themselves and to educate others. But perhaps it's idealistic of me. I do believe that there will come a day, whether I am alive to see it or not, where there will not only be reparations, but there will be racial equity. And it will have to come from tearing down the system. And it will take a group of people that are of all different races, acknowledging the system, acknowledging the harm, and tearing it down together collectively.
Okay, really quick, Blazing, Savvy. Randy, what you mean by wait until the other mods are here? They were like your pandering. So what mods are you shading that Rav has that condones pandering to white people? Like, I feel like you trying to like take shots at Blazing, but that's also shading Rav. Like, he has mods that are pandering to white people, and if there are like, what you trying to say with that? I'm taking that as shade to Rav. Honestly, I don't give a fuck that you was talking to Blazing. He got non-Black mods. Okay, so
yeah, he must be one of my CEO's friends. Yeah, he must be one of my.
So it was shade. Oh yeah, that's what he said. He got non. Yeah, it was shade. Like I picked up. Anyway, I asked for clarification. I got it. That you were shading. You're talking about the non-Black mods. All right, cool. Go ahead. You said what you said, Blazer. My bad, Savvy. I just saw that comment and want to address, but please go ahead. All yours, boo.
No, you're good. Again, stop asking for help from Black people and expecting Black people to help. You just said that I don't want Black people to do that. But then you said, I think that everybody should be able to recognize the system, and we're not going to be able to deconstruct that if we're all races are not on one accord. So do you want racism to end, or do you want racism to persist? Because if we're talking about races, right? Races and racism were created to be able to uphold white supremacy. So if you want that to be deconstructed, you want all races to do such. Why? You guys created it.
I'm saying to tear down the system, it will take all of us collectively agreeing that the system exists, that it's causing harm, that it is perpetual, and that we essentially dismantle what currently exists. Because the reality is the white people in this country, the vast majority of them do still believe that we have founded this country on patriotism, and like, they don't acknowledge the colonialism. They don't acknowledge the G-side. They don't acknowledge the harm and the oppression and the perpetuality of the system. They don't acknowledge it. They think that racism is just this small little bit of what it actually is. They think, and again, I say this as a white person who used to live in that same ignorance, they think that racism is exclusively just interpersonal. It is about awakening white people, which is not your job. It is my job. It is the job of all white people to do that. That is the onus. We are not asking for anything from the BIPOC community. What we are saying is that the only way that the system gets teared down is that we all have to be on one accord. And if that means that it's we, white people, tearing down the system we created, then that is we, as white people, agreeing that it is absolutely a dehumanizing, disgusting system. That's the reality. So I'm not asking for anything. I'm not telling you I'm a safe white person. I'm not saying that I'm a good white person. I'm saying that white people have the responsibility to tear down that which we put into place.
But you do also understand that not every Black person is going to give a shit about what you're talking about, Blazing, right? Because even though me and Savvy, when it to the minute details of it, we may have a slight disagreement, but I feel her. I understand her 150 million%. I got her. I completely understand. So also as a white person, you got to understand like this what you're doing ain't gonna work on, or a lot of us not gonna give a fuck.
Because it's something that's been done over and over and over and over. You think you're the only group of white people who have recognized racism? Also, I don't like that you are infantilizing white people to assume that they only know about interpersonal racism when we know that is not entirely true, right? When it comes to interpersonal racism, you guys are not thinking that way when you're stringing up people on trees, right? Or when you guys are doing medical racism. unaliving black women, right? So interpersonal racism is not something that every white tea person is just running around in their head. Some of them are fully aware, a lot of them actually are fully aware of how the structure works, and they're fully aware of exactly who's being subjected and who is being harmed, because it would have been destroyed by now. If they felt like it was so bad and the good white tea folks are doing so much work, they would have deconstructed it by now. So what's stopping y'all?
What's stopping us from what?
Deconstructing racism. You think you're the only group of white people? You're the only white person that wanted to quote unquote save black people? So
No, I'm not here to save black people. I can't do that. That's not my job. My job is to become more and more
then my
educated.
point is, I'm going to ask you again. So if there's so many white people who are in a group that don't like the fact of racism, why haven't you guys deconstructed it yet? What about the other group of white people before you and the other group of white people before you? What are the names of these good white people that I should look out for?
We're not good. We're not safe. We are racist. We are inherently biased. But we are collectively working to educate ourselves so that we can do everything in our power to educate other white tea people. And I'm not attempting to in any way infantilize
Wait, can I
white
stop
tea
you
people.
before you go on a tangent again? Because Savvy literally said she does not give a fuck. So stop repeating stuff she does not give a fuck about. If you don't have anything new to add to the conversation, just go ahead and mute on up and wait for your next time to speak, because you just keep repeating the same shit and it's low-key irritating me, because she already told you she don't give a fuck. I'm sorry if I overstepped you, Savvy, but that was eating on my brain that she just kept repeating herself.
No, you're good. She's a great politician.
I would also like to move on.
Sigh. I had nothing to say. I never.
I don't know why she came up here to do that.
I have nothing to say with people like that. There is nothing you can say.
She wants me again to give the benefit of the doubt. Well, there's a white person right here that cares. Then you should have shut up and just kept doing what you were supposed to be doing. Why did you have to come up here and try to advocate that shit to me? If I said
And Randy, you down here referring M's panel, and that's another white lady who's doing Get Ready with Me, talking about racism. That's another white woman who colonized me and my brother's post, sat in our live, mocked us, sits on mute, lets the black people in her panel do the hard labor, do the work, do the shit while she sits on mute, doing her makeup, jumping in and out while you down there referring. You know what? Let me not, because this not the time. My bad, Rash. I'm sorry.
You said, Pink, you said M though?
And with the wings.
Yeah, because I
called her out on my live on Friday.
Okay, yeah, because I had peeped that. I peeped that, because I was getting invites. Yeah, because she had followed me. I was getting invites to go in the live. I go up in there. All I see is black folks doing the hard work, and this person just collecting the gifts and stuff. I'll be damned. Y'all got me fucked up. You think I'm gonna sit here and do that shit, bitch?
Said the same shit, but it's cool. I know I ain't gonna hold nobody in our community who continues to go over there, and you know what I'm saying, they want to spar, they want to get it in, but you down there referring her to M, like M is like gonna, like, fuck out of here. That's just going to another black space, because it's nothing but black people talking, black people doing